Thank you to our premier partner, Pinata. Pinata makes it simple to store and retrieve media on IPFS and build social applications with Farcaster. Visit pinata.cloud for all the power tools for IPFS and Farcaster.
This is exciting. Okay, we are live. GM Farcaster. Today is Monday, May 13th, and you are here with me, Adrienne, and Erica Heavyweight, because Nounish Prof took the day off. Yay. For the first time, literally for the first time. I've taken like dozens of vacations, and she's taken the day off, so I hope she's having a wonderful morning. And you are here with me, God help us, figuring out how to actually run this stream. GM, Erica, how are you?
I'm great. I got to spend the first 10 minutes of my morning with you already, so.
But that's actually not how you started your morning.
No, I was just trying to be nice and not bring up the cat vomit, but you brought it up.
Sorry. Monday morning should not start with cat vomit.
Totally fine. I started my morning off with a big pile of cat vomit, but it doesn't mean everyone else has to.
Should I check? So normally, I'm going to check. So normally I'm hanging out in the chat, checking that our stream is on. We are good. All right. So we've got some Farcaster news to talk about.
We do.
We haven't been on since Thursday, which means there's like a whole weekend and a day or 2 days of news. Oh, look. It's your cast.
How could I have expected this?
It's actually, this isn't even what I wanted to start on, but it just popped up. So let's actually start with yours. So from Erica, I encourage everyone to anchor themselves within a moment of IRL connection from FarCon 24. FarCon 25 is a year away. It hasn't even been a week since this year's ended. Crypto moves fast, but it doesn't mean we can't still bask in the memories of this year's FarCon. Please share your fave memory from this year. So I love this because all of last week was like post FarCon, and then immediately went to like, okay, but what's next?
Yeah.
So this was like very, very wholesome and favorite. What was your favorite memory?
My favorite memory, I just cackled that other people wrote, or my personal favorite.
What was your personal favorite?
Personal favorite memory, and that was that I was really excited to meet Colin from Paragraph because we've chatted like several times over the last few months, and I literally met him at the Dymo house right after being with Colin Johnson, Kojo from Ponder, and I introduced myself to Colin, and he like semi looks similar to his profile picture, but I do not make the connection. I was just like, oh, a second Colin, and I just kind of like brush him off and walk away.
Was he not in a dome? Like if you're not
And then like 20 minutes later, we're talking about pagination and frames. And so I was like, yeah, Colin, what you did with Paragraph was so sick. And I just like, wait, oh my God, what? And I just like freak out, and hug him. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize it was you. And it was just a really funny, like first, oh my gosh, I've met someone in person that I didn't recognize. PFP, yeah.
How great were all the, what did you just say? All the random hugs, like as if you know people. So I didn't meet Paragraph Colin.
Oh,
I'm sad. All right. So while we're on kind of I want to move on from FarCon because we do have lives beyond FarCon to get onto, but a few other things. Dylan casted wanted to be the first to say that FarHack is living on, and I'm going to build it out as a brand. Still working out what that fully looks like, but it's no doubt going to include more hackathons. Always around if you want to chat about ideas, partnerships, and we'll share more as I get a better sense of the future. So that's awesome. I don't know if anyone saw that coming. I think we saw it. He was like on our recap show. He's like, I'm not quite sure what to do about it. And then like 20 minutes later, it's like, now it's a brand. So that's awesome. And we should absolutely be seeing more hackathons outside of FarCon, I hope. Like, why wait a year? And then Chris co-created, presented a co-creation, FarCon co-created for and with everyone at FarCon 2. See it in slow mode on the Mint page, Mint and Share co-created work. So these are just all pictures that people had casted that he turned into a video that is too fast for my brain. Every now and then it's like you see someone you recognize. It's cool.
Yeah. Such a good idea.
All right. Moving on to the news of the weekend is the AirStack Social Capital Score. So Nounish Prof casted, here's my AirStack Social Capital Score, SCS. Okay, but 9.79 out of what? Any insight? Did you do your social capital score?
I did do my social capital
How'd you
score.
feel about it? How'd it make you feel?
Weird. Felt very Black Mirror-ish, for sure. That was like one of the first episodes of Black Mirror I ever watched, was the one where everyone was rated by their like a social rating, and you could literally be like banned from businesses, and people could like block you if you had like too low of a score. Like you just show up as like a gray like blob in front of them. Yeah.
Oh, that was the one where she was going to the wedding?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, like in every interaction, you're at the cafe. It's like, oh, you get your little number. So,
yeah.
So
I do like that, like that, how it relates into the social capital of a specific cast. I think that's really interesting, is that it doesn't matter who posts something, it matters who interacts with it. And I think that's a really interesting like flip from how Web2 like does their like engagement or their surfacing algorithms. So I think that is a really interesting part of this setup.
Yeah, and if you look, and we'll link this, but Beta Shop kind of just gave some explanations of how it works. So in this example, NT has the #1 trending cast right now, not because of his popularity or social capital score, which is 0.2. He doesn't have that many followers. It's because he casted something that a lot of people with a higher SCS have actively engaged with. I think a lot, I kind of felt like with you, it's like looking at your score feels weird. Yeah. And yet there is a need to, I think somehow quantify what makes, good casters. So I'm happy people are experimenting with it. I don't know if do you have the bot or not action?
I do.
Okay. It's such a fun one. So bot or not already integrated that in it. So if you're,
yeah.
And I didn't pull this cast, but Beta Shop also kind of gave explanations of how it works. And like, I think the median capital score, social capital score was like 0.1 or something.
Yeah, it's like really low. It's like 0.3. I was reading through it last night, his like screenshot essay that he posted. The way I understood it is like there is also no set maximum either. So even though like yesterday I think the maximum was 279, today it could be 282 or some other one. But there is like a set minimum, which is 0. And then I think there are only 454 accounts with the score above 1. So that to me is a little like, whoa, okay, so we have a scale from 1 to 280 and there are only 454 accounts within that. But then from 0 to 1, we have thousands of accounts. So we're having like a very skewed bell curve with this score, which makes sense because influence is not like an average population level of,
Right, it's not normal distribution, so.
Exactly.
Should we do a little you're good enough, smart enough, and people like you, even if your social capital score is less than 0.3.
Yeah.
If you're new, it's good. People will gamify it, I'm sure. Okay, so moving on, HorseFacts put out the spec for programmable DCs. Plan is to basically expose a thin layer on top of internal Warpcast APIs. We don't know enough about the final shape of public DC APIs, so we'll keep it simple to start. So if you're a dev or interested, you can check out that spec and comment on it. KMAC asked if there is commitment to decentralized DCs eventually. DODAD confirmed, yes, order a plan, make it first work well. Number 2, then make it programmable so other apps can use it. 3, interoperable, used in other clients. And then 4, decentralized. So he thinks close to having 1, only starting on 2. So decentralized still in the future, but not there yet. There were Varun talking about feed marketplace. So the other kind of topic updates was kind of what are the different feeds? How are you viewing it? Thomas, Aviation Doctor, asked when will we see, or will we see feed algorithms as a service? Imagine Farcaster client, whereby any Farcaster client allows the user to select their preferred algo from a list of open source options published in a standard format to GitHub. Various algos would offer followers only, followers plus their followers, language specific, zero censorship, OGs, etc. I thought this was interesting. I know when kind of like Elon took over Twitter, his first thing was like, we're going to open source the algorithm. Like people want to know. And then this is kind of like the idea of giving people different options. Varun calls this idea the feed marketplace as opposed to feed as a service, which is what OpenRank and others are doing. The challenge building a choose your own algorithm is that the most interesting feeds are no longer just algorithms or fancy SQL queries. Feeds are performance sensitive. You can't just run a SQL query when someone is scrolling. Ideally, you have a very long cached feed for your users that can be quickly delivered on demand. This is computed and stored in a very fast in-memory data store like Redis. Finding interesting content also relies on a lot of derived data. Warpcast takes the number of times you've interacted with someone, divides it by the frequency, yada, yada, yada. Long thread, but he explains why all you armchair, social network developers make things sound so simple, but it's not. And of course, we bring up the stated versus revealed preference, where people say they want to feed, that they can control, but revealed preferences isn't. So Gabriel Ayuso, stated preference, I want to eat healthy and nutritious food. Revealed preference, I'll eat all the sweets and snacks available to me. Sometimes we need to help users stick to their stated preferences. It's a balance. Where do you come out on, what do you want from your feed?
I think I do want some, obviously, personalization and control over my feed. I think what Warpcast is doing right now with the see why I'm, seeing this cast, or show why I'm seeing this cast, excuse me, I think that's a good step in that direction of, hey, we're unveiling, some of the algorithm of your feed here, and we're giving you some agency and autonomy over what you see here. But this is actually very relevant to my company with Christopher. We're focusing on communities and creating and discovering new communities. And I see a future where your feeds are based on communities and not necessarily algorithms or what these other people are talking about. Is that when I want to go to the hustler community because I'm in my hustler mindset and I'm rise and grind and I'm all of that stuff, then I'll go to my hustler community feed and be around that community. But then when I want to be around my fun girly pop ladies community, then I'm going to go into my girly pop community. But that isn't exactly like the girly pop channel as it exists today. That can be something very different. So I think there are many paths we can take, but I personally think that the main one is going to be communities.
Oh, cozy corners within. I actually just casted something about that over the weekend too, just kind of about my experience on X and how it's kind of become one experience when I get there. It's like, great, be the everything app, but I don't really want that. And there's I want niche and define. So kind of fits well with what Dan was talking about at FarCon about kind of cozy corners.
Yeah. And you shouldn't have to find them either. And that's our philosophy at Unofficial, is that we want to give you these communities. You shouldn't have to spend a lot of time and effort finding your perfect fit. There's already so much data about you on chain and just through what you post on Farcaster and then through Frames engagements, that why can't we deliver that to you?
That's awesome. I just onboarded a friend yesterday.
Yay.
And I watched over her shoulder how she kind of did the first, but she's not super crypto native.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, well, what do I do? Where do I go? And it's kind of, how do you find? So hopefully.
Yeah. That little hiccup, of wait, but what am I supposed to do? That's exactly the moment that, we want to remove from the onboarding experience.
Well, I'm super excited about Unofficial. Nothing for us to see yet.
Maybe in a couple of days. There will be
days. Yes. You're all right. Awesome. All right. V did a Saturday AMA. If you didn't ask him a question, you missed it, but always good to, pick up this, read. I don't know if you saw this over the weekend.
I did not. No, I was busy building, was probably coding for 20 hours this weekend.
My favorite part about Varun's AMAs, he says, ask me anything on your mind about Farcaster and I'll try to respond, which he's direct. Dan does AMA. You can ask him anything about Mole and all the things. Varun keeps it specific. Dan Cassidy, what's something that's confusing to you about Farcaster? So just if I always love kind of both of these, which is just good ways to catch up on all the news on Farcaster. Phil did the screenshot essay. I'm not going to read it because it's long, but it was, and I don't know if you read it, but he's talking about how fortunate he is with some of his life experiences, but he kind of compares like these alternative paths versus the real job path. I've talked about how I'm kind of in my pivot. I went from real job to what I'm doing now, and talks about kind of the jobs of the future. Did you get a chance to read this?
Very briefly, but I agree. And I come from an alternative career path too. So definitely resonated.
So you're already bought in. Mark Fishman asked, is anyone running a channel as their business? So obviously they're not, I have a channel for my business, but the channel is the product. And I thought this was interesting. I had a conversation with I Speak Nerd about kind of tabletop potentially as a business. But this will be interesting to see.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of channels that have monetization potential, especially ones that are very, very well run.
And all right, my laptop. Oh, back there. Okay, we're back to FarCon. What? Oh, okay. So some purple news. So Erica, are you in purple by any chance?
I'm not actually.
Oh.
I'm a shocker. I need to get my hands on one.
Oh. Purple was the first DAO that I became a part of. And big news, big purple news. We are now officially a nonprofit Marshall Islands DAO per Prop 37. That means there are new legal protections and the ability to receive previously inaccessible grants. We're discussing a simple way to allow affirmation of the operating agreement. HT2, the thriller for shepherding. So Purple's growing up. There is a new retro fund that just kicking off today. What's different, it's through Rounds WTF, but you can submit through the Warpcast feed now. So anyone can post their project or contribution to Purple with the tag retro PGF, and Purple holders vote by liking their favorite posts. So if you've done something to promote Farcaster,
like FarCon, maybe?
I think FarCon. I think FarCon would apply. And then there's a frame as well. Our frame is live, so round starts today. Oh, Woj posted a preview for Supercast. So he's shipping one preview before shipping tomorrow. GN, some of you will not like it. And I don't know if you saw this, but he's playing with something called a boost request, where within Supercast, you can choose followers to send a request. Something will show up. Hey, it's woj.eth via Supercast. I just published a new cast and would appreciate your support in boosting its engagement. So this is like when you're someone who's going to, you can ask influential followers to boost, you've seen this. Hey, wouldn't you mind if you give this a boost? What do you think about this?
Ripe for abuse.
Oh, thank you. I'm like, he goes, some of you are not going to like it. I'm like, yeah, that's me. Can we not do this?
I mean, I'm definitely thinking of it like selfishly from a standpoint of I don't want a bunch of people asking me to do this because my DCs are already swamped for people asking me to do stuff. But I think it's fun, and I think it's like a nice experiment to go down and see how it pans out. Maybe it's great. Maybe my initial assumption is not correct.
Have you ever asked anyone to boost a cast of yours?
Once, and actually it was you. It was we were doing our Far Hearts thing for Valentine's Day. And I said, if you would cast the NFT, that would be great. And you did.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I just have this kind of visceral, like when I see people ask for engagement, there's a little bit of social capital you have to spend. So you need to have a lot of it in order to do it. So I can see if all of a sudden everyone's kind of going around asking, it becomes too transactional. It probably backfires. All right, let's see. Oh, yesterday was Mother's Day. Jesse Pollock, for all the children of based moms out there, tell your mom you love her and get her on chain.
Speaking of 3D animated hearts.
Yes, we should bring yours back.
Resurrection for Mother's Day. I should have made one, honestly.
Ben Bassler announcing cast tickets, a prediction game to win DGen for betting on viral casts. Every round has a prize pool. Users can buy cast tickets. Ticket holders of the most liked cast get the prize pool. Join Tizer, is that how you T-I-S-E, Tizer, and collect this post to get 5 free cast tickets. I saw this, and this was like the classic. There's an audience out there that loves this and will dive in and plays immediately. This is the stuff I see, and I'm like, I don't understand it. It's confusing because it's gamifying, and that's not my vibe. What do you think?
I'm the same way. I think gamification of social definitely hits a certain audience. I'm not part of that audience, and that's totally chill. I would love to see gamification put into social contexts in different ways than betting, though. I think there are some interesting, like, net new behaviors that can result from all of these pieces of data and all of these pieces of infrastructure converging at this one period of time.
And that's kind of my feeling. It's like, let all the experiments happen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, my video is frozen.
Yeah.
That sucks.
A while.
For a long time.
Like 3 or 4 minutes, maybe.
So is that back when I was like, oh, my computer just did something? So I think this is one of these things where unless I reboot, it dies.
Oh no. Well,
this sucks. Sorry. Should I put a picture of myself on? Well, this is fitting for the first time I host a show. We have technical difficulties.
Yeah. It's first time.
All right. Oh yeah, Erica, you were being polite about it. I guess you knew. So the chat said you're doing great. Okay. All right, well, we'll continue. You guys can pretend there's a orange box on the screen. I thought this was cool from Union Square Ventures. Overheard at USV, a new experiment where we invite an AI assistant to join our conversations and share some of the themes with the world. Week of May 6th, they talk about the unbundling of platforms, data science and mining, culinary adventures, AI's potential to uncover hidden structures, safe harbors for conversations. I just thought this was super cool. And the way they're kind of experimenting, this is VC firm and they're bringing AI into their conversations and kind of sharing publicly. Feels like fly in the wall. So if you're interested in following along, good thread to read. This was a cast by resident chef Giuseppe. Fun researching and developing a green mole recipe at dwr.eth. So mole lives on. A new frame from Steve Dillon dev.eth from Pinata. It's is it the weekend? It's not the weekend. So try again on Friday. And Rish, at Coinbase, teams frequently mention OFAC. Turns out all this time they were talking about opportunity for another client. Do you know what OFAC actually is? The other acronym that Coinbase would care about?
Like acronym of it, but I know it's not opportunity for another client.
It's the Office of Foreign Assets Control. So I think I can see why Coinbase would talk about that. So opportunity for another client. If you're in Warpcast, that's what that means. And last by at MaxBR, big shout out to Pinata for their managed Farcaster auth system. I haven't been able to figure this out for months until I came across their product tucked away in a blog post somewhere. Google needs to rank it higher. Or maybe Farcaster does, but he was looking for docs and examples of logging in with Warpcast using some sort of OAuth-like flow. trying to set something up that would require cast access and can't find any docs unless I'm blind.
There are a few packages. I haven't stumbled across Pinatas yet. Curious to look into it.
Oh my God, this is awful. All right, so that is the news for today. I really can't believe my video is not showing up because I can't make my good eye contact with you. But thanks for carrying.
Adrienne, you're just like looking at me like, what is she talking about?
And what's up, chat? I'm going to check out how. Have you been monitoring the chat, Erica? That's your that's the job of the co-host.
No, I get far too distracted, and I'm also always terrified that if I open another video call or sound while I'm on another video call, that the like really horrible feedback will start.
Yeah.
But
don't do that then.
No.
Oh, and now Nish Prof is in the chat. Hi, Prof. All right, so when we edit, maybe I'll throw my video in somehow. All right, so for this week, we are back on Wednesday with Prof and me. So if this was a painful episode with me driving, she'll be back in. If it wasn't so painful, maybe I'll keep doing it. Because when something is painful, you do it more often.
I can tell you from my experience, it was not painful, Adrienne.
You're so sweet.
I loved it.
Safe space. Thank you. And Friday, we're on at a special time. We are on at, I want to say, noon Eastern, 9 o'clock Pacific. So for all you West Coasters who've wanted to join, and we've got Itai from Dynamic joining as our special guest. What else am I supposed to do for my wrap-up announcements? I know there's a bye-bye coming. And thank you, chatters. Thank you to all our hyper subbers. Thank you, Pinata, our premier partner. And with that, bye-bye. I'm waving. Can you picture me?